In my corporate job 18 years ago, I was promoted 6 times. I was one of the marketing VPs in the number 10th market in the world for a global company. I had a team of 25 people, and I was really enjoying the work. And at that time, it was an interesting time. There was the economic crisis, the general manager change, there was the unfulfilled seats in my team. And at the time, you know, I was considered as one of the continental VPs for marketing again. And by all means, I was succeeding. But my body didn't agree that much, or my life. I used to wake up at 7 in the morning, would come back from work at 9, read my emails until midnight, and I see some of the nods in the audience, and I would have my phone at my bedside, so that at 3, when there is an email or a request from GM, I would reply. And if I didn't, I thought I wasn't deserving the place I got. It was like an obligation. So there at the time, I was suffering from back and neck pain, which was there for 7 years or so. But I was telling myself, not now, I'll slow down later. And my body had other plans. What happened was that I went to the hospital for a cold, and I was suffering from my back pain again. You know, it was happening so frequently by then. And I went to my other physiologist, and she said, oh, you need to have a surgery in 2 days. If not, you may not be able to use your foot again. I was like, what? We're in the middle of the business planning session. Our global CEO is coming. That's not possible. Oh, well, she said, if you want to keep your foot, you have no choice. So I really thought how I was going to share that with my general manager, because she was someone who would take a flight even though she had broken her back. So I took my chance because I preferred my body rather than my job. I had the surgery, and for a month, I stayed in bed. I wasn't able to sit well or stand well because of the surgery, but for the first time in my life, I had a time to pause. And I thought to myself, why do I need to prove myself with the number of hours I'm sleeping? Why? What is leadership after all? And what happened was I started thinking that I haven't been paying attention to my mental wellness, which had come through a physical challenge. So we know that if we don't pay attention to our mental wellness, our bodies will stop us. And that's what happened to me. So I changed the trajectory of my life and became an executive coach. And I've been coaching executives for the last 17 years across 50 countries. And I'm going to share with you 3 strategies, thank you for that have helped me and the women I have coached across the world. The first strategy is energy management. We're great at managing our calendars, meeting obligations, setting time for all the one-to-ones and the group speaking and the business planning, etc. We make time for our kids, for our home, but we don't necessarily have time for ourselves. And I'm going to share with you a simple model from Stuart. And he says there are 4 states of energy. One is survival. And we know all about that, right? The second one is performance, what we're aiming for. The other two are burnout, and I'm sure you've had your share of that too. And finally, recovery. And this last state is usually ignored. And most of the executives I've been working with, they really move around burnout or survival. Because taking your time for recovery is seen as a weakness. But it is actually what fuels you to move on. So I would like to, leave you with that question. How do you manage your energy? And how do you find time for your recovery? Because at the end, if you want to be effective long term, you need to be sustainable for short term. The second strategy that has made a tremendous difference in my life and in all the coaching work I do with executives is values. When I was leading the marketing department, it was all about success. I thought I had no other option. I wasn't aware that I was living the value of my parents or the value of my company. So I really asked myself, what do I really care about? What do I value? Not what should I value? Because most of the time I speak with my clients, they talk about their shoulds. And there was a search for values for me. And until that time, I never considered. And I figured that it was all about connection, deep connection, meaning, and health. And when I clarified my values, it was very evident for me that I wanted to work with people who want to do better, be better, and achieve more. When I work with my clients and I see them as high-achieving women, frustrated most of the time, and tired most of the time. And when we dig deeper, we understand that they're living someone else's values, not theirs. So my colleague Mandeep is going to take you much deeper into the concept, but this is one of those that I think are critical to our mental well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, and finally, social well-being. Your values are not abstract. They are decisions made in advance. Now, the third strategy that's been working for me and for my clients is ask for help and say no without any guilt. I had this client in a coaching session we had. For 30 times, she said, I should. And I like taking notes in my coaching sessions. And I took those notes. And I showed her, what do these mean? 30 sentences with should. She got silent. She was shocked. She wasn't aware that she was acting only from her limited beliefs, not necessarily what she believed in. So at the time I was leading the marketing department, I had the same pattern as well. My most important team member was missing, and I was doing the double head. I said, okay, I can do it. I'm there to prove myself, okay? So I held these roles for a year, a VP role and a director role. And I thought if I were to complain about it, that would be, So you know how the story ended, right? So asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign for self-awareness and wisdom. So, as I'm concluding my words, I want you to think about your energy deliberately. I want you to sharpen your values and have deep conversations with yourself. And finally, I would like you to ask for help if need be and just say no. So you don't end up as me having a surgery to find that out. Thank you.